I just trimmed my hair last week. It was time for another haircut since May. We are now in August, so that's about 3 months, and because I'm maintaining the length and the shape of it, every 3 months, 4 max is how long I stretch between haircuts. But I'm trying to prevent curl shock, so I'm going to go through my full wash day. These tips that I'm going to show you are not only good post haircut, but I'll let you guys know what's good to help prevent curl shock, help with damage, and just the little tips and tricks I use for fine curls. Let's get to it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use a bond builder. It came in handy at the beginning of my curl journey when I was going through severe heat damage stage and I was trying to see what my hair could do. I loved the Olaplaex one. I feel like the Olaplaex bond builder is the most beginner friendly because you can leave it in as long as you want. It's not going to cause any further damage, where there are some bond builders where you need to be careful how long you're leaving it in your hair, and you got to just be mindful of those things. So I personally feel that Olaplaex is the most beginner friendly, but when you're in a time crunch, I like to use the Bond Curl Rehab Salve from Curlsmith. So I'm just starting by finger detangling. Now I'm just wetting my hair so it's damp before applying the bond builder. So this one for different porosities needs to stay in the hair for different amounts of time. So for my hair, I leave it in for about 15 minutes. If you have lower porosity or a much thicker hair, you can leave it in for, I think it's up to 30 minutes or 40 minutes, something like that. But for me, 10 to 15 maximum. Also the fact that my hair is quite healthy right now, so it doesn't need too much. Again, just trying to prevent any curl shock from this wash day after the haircut. So I'm just going to apply a little to the side. So I'm taking about that much, and I'm just going to rake it through with my fingers. So if you're recovering from heat damage, bond builders and deep conditioners are going to be your best friend, because your curls are going to probably be very dry, very fried. The pattern's going to be wonky and flattened with not much elasticity to it. So for me, what I used to do is I would alternate. I would do like a protein mask or a bond builder one week, and then I would do a deep conditioner the following week, rather than deep condition every week or bond builder every week, because when I did try that at the beginning, it was too much for my hair. My hair is too fine. The fact that it's lower density, it was just too heavy if I was deep conditioning every single week. I know that's such a rule. So many curly girls love to deep condition once a week. And if you've got super thick, beautiful hair, 100% that's going to help with your wash days and your longevity and the moisture in your hair. But for me, it was way too heavy for my hair and my scalp. And then the bond builders or protein treatments, when I was trying that once a week, it was too harsh. It was a lot on the curls again, and there is such thing as too much protein or too much bond builders at once, and you will also get wonky curls from that. So I found that the balance of 1 week each, 1 week deep condition, 1 week protein mask or bond building treatment, that really helped when I was recovering from heat damage. I'm just adding a tiny bit more to make sure I'm getting the back of my hair. So I'm just making sure that I'm getting the back. This is the same thing I do when I'm applying product to make sure I'm getting the back of my head as well. Now I'm going to leave in for the 10 to 15 minutes. For wash day today, I'm going to go in with the Monday Hair Care Curl Define shampoo. So I'm going in with this because I want kind of a hydrating shampoo, a gentler shampoo. I don't want anything to be too stripping, because I also noticed my hair was feeling kind of dry at the ends even before the haircut. And then I'm going in with the K18 Damage Shield Protective Conditioner. That is also to help with curl shock. So it's got a little bit of bond building components and a little bit of protein that A, my hair loves, but B, my hair would need post haircut. I'm really focusing on having a very balanced wash day.
6 hours later.
I finished washing. Today I'm actually going to try 2 different products that I have. One of them I've never used, one of them I have. So I'm going to use the DesignME Curl Balm. I like this because it gives a little bit of a cast. I always like to use a curl cream that gives a slight cast even on its own, because that, again, it just gives more hold. Anything I can do for maximum hold is great to make sure that I'm getting the most out of my wash day. And then I'm going to pair it with the OSIS Volume and Body Grip Extra Strong Mousse. I love me a stronghold mousse, so I'm going to put this to the test this week. Going to be going to the gym. It is a full weekend. I'm going to be out both days, pretty much all day. So I really want a good wash day that's going to last through all of that, plus the gym. And if I can get another like 6 days out of my wash day, that would be amazing. As I already mentioned about the beginning of my curly journey, I'll let you guys know that I started my curly journey at the beginning of COVID. It was one of those situations where I'm like, why am I straightening my hair every day to stay home? I would either straighten it with a straightener, blow dry it out straight, or curl it with a straightener. And I'm like, why am I doing this every day? We're not going anywhere. I'm not seeing anyone. I'm not going anywhere. Why does it matter? So I just said, you know what? Let me stop. Let me give it, I think at the time lockdown was supposed to be 2 weeks. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to just stop for 2 weeks. It's healthier for my hair. Let me just do that. But then lockdown got pushed and pushed. So I'm like, okay, let me just keep leaving it. So I just kept leaving my hair. I started researching a little because I had curly hair when I was younger. And then even when I would leave it natural growing up, it was always kind of wavy, but it was heat damage. And I always thought my hair was so healthy. But in reality, it was very, very heat damaged. So I started watching YouTube videos. Shout out to Mains by Mel and Jamie Joe. Those were my two girlies that I used to watch that I would learn so much from, and that's when the journey started. As you can see from the haircut, the front training pieces, I went a little crazy. They're a little short. We move, just brush styling. If I'm doing a super, super quick wash day, I will just do rake and shake method and maybe brush style the top layer. But when I actually want my wash day to last and turn out like really, really nicely, I will always brush style it so that I'm getting maximum definition. And I'm just gonna make sure the back curls are good. Another spot that I went a little short on was the bangs. Look at how short this piece is while wet. That's very short while wet. I only finger roll the bang pieces because I like to place them a certain way. Some people like to finger roll their whole head. I don't have the time, patience, or energy for that. So 3 or 4 little pieces right here will do for me. If you are at the beginning of your curl journey and you've got like a lot of wonky curls, especially the top layer, you could totally finger roll just a thin layer on top to make sure you're getting like good definition throughout. I'd recommend that, but if you don't need to, there's no reason to waste time on it. Whatever your curl pattern is, I promise you, I know it's gorgeous. So, all right, trying this mousse. It's like a little smoke. I'm gonna start with that. Okay, it's pretty creamy, but I really tried creamier. Oh, it smells very nice. Reminds me of the hair salon. So I'm just lightly distributing everywhere before I start scrunching. Scrunch very gently. I don't want it to get frizzy, so I'm taking my time with the scrunching. And for my fine hair curlies, my hair was super wet when I started brush styling, so as you can see, the clumps are kind of large right now. I don't want that to be the case because I don't want it to look like I have 3 curls on my head. So I'm just using my fingers to separate. Sometimes I will also use a wide tooth comb to do that. Don't really know where it cut me, but scrunching in my next layer of mousse, hoping that the mousse will scrunch out nicely and not be too strong of a cast. When I scrunch in the second time, the clumps really clump together, so I'm just doing a quick comb through just to separate as much as I can without disrupting. And one last scrunch. Again, for like a normal wash day, I will not be this particular, but got a really long weekend full of things to do, and I want it to last into next week when I go to work and all of that as well. So before I start the other side, I'm actually going to go in with my heat protectant. So I'm going to use the IGK, it's called Good Behavior. It's a 4-in-1 prep spray. I really like to just use it as the heat protectant component. It smells delicious. It smells so good. So I'll either add this as my last step or my first step. before diffusing. And now I'm good to start styling this side, because once I'm done styling one side, I don't like to disrupt anything. I want to just leave it as is. So now that the heat protectant is in, that side is good to go. I'm just gonna do this side quickly.
3 hours later.
Now I'm fully styled. I'm just going to give the back a little shake right in the middle so that there's not a separation and the curls kind of blend just right at the root. Next up is diffusing. As you can see, my hair is still pretty wet. Starting on the side that I styled first, and I'm going straight in pixie diffusing. I'm using the Dyson blow dryer with the diffuser attachment, and I always start off on low speed, low heat with this dryer while I pixie diffuse, and then after I do everywhere, I will go back and do the same thing, but on medium heat and high speed. High heat on this dryer for my hair and scalp is too much. If you got thicker hair or porosity hair that's gonna take longer to dry, I recommend doing a high heat, high speed to finish. But for me, the medium heat, high speed is good enough.
Starting off on low heat, low speed, I am pixie diffusing all the way up to my roots in small sections, layer by layer. Again, this is to prevent any frizz. I do this the entire one side of my head, making sure I'm not missing the back curls. Then I do the other side, and then I will flip the hair over, all the way over to one side, pixie diffuse the exact same way all the way up to the root. I'll do the other side, and then I will increase the heat and speed. Once the hair is about 50% dry, do the same thing, side to side, flip over both sides and to the middle to make sure it is fully dry.
Now that my hair is fully dry, you can see how much of a cast that mousse actually gave. So I'm hoping that it scrunches out just as nice, but this should mean that my wash day is going to be really good and really long lasting. We're really gonna put it to the test this week. Now I'm gonna try to scrunch it out with the Verb Ghost Oil. So I like a serum to scrunch out my crunch, and I like ones that have that thick consistency. I don't love the super runny ones. So I'm just coating everything. I almost feel like the thicker ones help to break down the product more. My hands are pretty much dry, so I'm just gonna add another like half a pump. A little really goes a long way, and you don't want your hair to be weighed down or oily looking. So definitely I recommend starting off with a little bit at a time and adding more as you need. It actually scrunched out pretty good. The bangs need a little bit more love. This is with no dry lift, no hairspray, nothing. And I still have such a good turnout in terms of like volume. This is still pretty good for nothing else being near my roots. And I will say that the wash day turned out pretty good. My curls, I can tell it might take 1 or 2 more washes. It's not experiencing major curl shock because I took my preventative measures beforehand and I was super careful with what I used on this wash day. So this should help if I do another wash day similar to this next week. So it should really prevent anything more from happening if I do a wash day similar to this again next week. Any sign of wonky curls should be gone by then. This is after a little bit of the dry lift. I'm just going to add a Stronghold hairspray. Always finish off with that. And if you really want the roots to stay, give it a little spritz when they're already lifted, and now you should be good to go. This was the full wash day from start to finish. It definitely takes a little bit of time to get used to, find your rhythm, find what your hair likes or what your hair is needing for this wash day. But once you got that down pat, what time is it? It took us maybe 45 minutes to an hour and I'm filming. So it's really not too bad. If you guys like this video, like and subscribe and leave me a comment on what you might want to see next. And I'll see you in 2 weeks, guys. Bye.